Hey everybody, it's Kasha, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide. Now, the same guy that made the Stanley Parable made this game as well, although I believe this one was made first. I don't know anything about it other than that. Believe it or not, I don't usually look up a whole lot of information for the games that I play. Just kind of gives me more of an experience for not only me, but for you guys watching as well. So, we're going to hop right into it. Begin the game. Show me what you got. I have high hopes. Please make sure audio is on. Yes, it is. Thank you for double checking. WASD and left click. Simple enough. I think I can handle that. I hope. Alright, what do you got for me? I'm very curious to see what you have.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide.
Oh, no problem.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable. And while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
So this game was made after?
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Okay.
Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
It's not
what
bad.
I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person.
Okay.
It kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since.
All right.
And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I didn't really know what to expect walking into this, but this is definitely a little bit different than what I was anticipating. So I'm already a little taken off by what just happened. I guess that was just so far from what I was expecting, but I can't even imagine what's going to be waiting for us next. I mean, let's leap right into it. Okay. Okay.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Okay. I have a gun that doesn't seem to need to reload or anything. The sounds are pretty low. Guess I just have to find my way out. That's not even a door.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You
Right.
can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Ooh, that door opened. Alright, yeah, I can't shoot anymore.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, that is great. Alright, can I, there we go. Oh, this is...
Apparently the
God.
space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Okay.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Alright, I'm very interested. I mean,
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all.
is that the engine?
That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
So me?
If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Wow, that is a... I mean, this got heavy really fast. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was just walking around with a gun I couldn't reload looking at the bottom of the universe, and now you're asking me to just leap into a beam of energy and kill myself. I mean, oh, it's a lot.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
Well, thank you. Oh, that death, though.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere.
Alright.
And this is what happens instead.
I'm, like, alive? So, what does that mean? I'm a little confused. Do I just do it again? Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Hey, bottom of the
The beam
universe.
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I guess we're gonna be looking at a whole bunch of games. I mean, that's cool. The past was behind her. Alright, this looks, like it could turn into a indie horror game, like, really fast. I can't move, though. I can't do anything. I can jump, but
So try walking backwards. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh, that is awesome. That is actually really cool. Can you... No. Think about it. Think about the things that you could do with a mechanic like this. You could make this into just any kind of game. You can make it into anything. And it would be challenging.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
I love this.
Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
I think this is awesome. I want a game like this. Think about the things that you could do. Imagine like a horror game where you can only do this. Admittedly, like it wouldn't be able to be too difficult, but think about how horrifying it could be. Think about like a puzzle game, just a game where you're walking around looking for things. Think about it. That would be amazing. I think it would be cool. But the future is always behind her. How will she find the strength? I like this. To confront it. Oh, things changing behind
It's a short
me.
little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
I liked it. I
Which
thought
to
that was a
me
cool
is why
idea.
it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
If they get better than that, like, I'm excited. Ooh, yes. Okay, I can see about 5 feet. Oh, good lord. Okay, I'm pretty limited. You are now entering. Where are we entering? Is it escalator land? Where are the rides? Oh,
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
okay. I'm willing to be patient with you because you've already shown me some interesting things. Nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Whoa.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him.
Dead to me.
And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Some people are just like that. Some people, you know, they finish something, and even if it's unfinished, that's just it. There's no more. Whoa.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Alright, cool. Okay. You walk around talking to people and pursue... Oh, man. You are a gate.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person.
These are pretty
But that it
cool
takes
if you
time
actually
to
read
really see
them.
that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
These are pretty cool. Some of them are really interesting. They could lead in all sorts of directions. Ready, set, fish. I'm very interested in continuing to find out what awaits us just for the rest of the game, but I don't want this video going on for too long, so that's going to be it for this one. If you liked, feel free to like, favorite, share, subscribe, and so on and so forth, and I'm definitely going to be finishing the beginner's guide because I want to know what awaits, and if you do, just going to have to be patient, but I've got plenty of other games as well. So with all that being said, I'm Kasha, and so we go.